here by Stephen Lecce, Ontario's Minister of Energy and Mines, Graham McGregor, Ontario's Minister of Citizenship and Multiculturalism, and Jess Dixon, the Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister of Education and the MPP for Kitchener South Hespeler. My name is Isha. I'm Minister Lecce's press secretary, and I'll be moderating today's session. Just to kick everything off, we'll just have Minister McGregor just offer just a couple words of just introduction and talking about yesterday's announcement.
Brilliant. Thank you, Isha. And thank you to all of our media partners that are here today. And honored to be here, joined by my colleagues, Minister Lecce and MPP Dixon, to share some really good news and some really focused attention that the Ontario government is putting, and particularly Minister Lecce's ministry to make people's lives better. Minister Lecce and MPP Dixon are no stranger to the media groups that are here today. You know that we put a serious priority on making sure that our cultural media outlets across Ontario are given access to government, given the facts about what we are doing, and the ability to share the story with your audiences about what the Ontario government is doing in their interest to serve them better. This announcement that we are echoing here today is around launching the advisory panel to help double nuclear isotope production by 2030. We've had roundtables and press conferences before talking about the big need for nuclear energy for Ontario's growing economy and a clean, green future for our residents. But this is a piece of the story that I think needs equal, if not more attention, which is how this technology is actually being used to save lives, from diagnostics to cancer treatment. This is crucial, pivotal work, and I want to applaud the minister for his leadership on pushing to make sure that we are producing as many nuclear isotopes as we possibly can. So I will, but without getting into all those details, you'll hear it better from himself and from our next speaker as well. So please join me in welcoming MPP Jess Dixon, the MPP for Kitchener South Hespeler and the Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister of Education. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Minister McGregor, and good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here today. It really means a lot to have you here. I know that a lot of the communities that you represent are some of our fastest growing and our most engaged, and also incredibly community and family focused. So it is incredible to have you here as such trusted voices in your communities, and we're so grateful of the work that you're doing to make sure that you're, helping us get out sort of accurate, thoughtful information to your viewers and listeners. So we're so grateful for that. Just by way of background, I've been involved in this file from early on. I was initially one of the parliamentary assistants to energy, but I actually grew up in what I sort of jokingly call a nuclear family. My dad was an engineer working in sort of nuclear fabrication, and my mother grew up in Deep River. You might hear a little bit about Chalk River in Ontario. Chalk River is one of our longest standing manufacturers of medical isotopes, and that's actually where my parents met back when Chalk River was producing cobalt-60 and molybdenum-99, as well as other isotopes that you will probably start hearing more about. So I always grew up in a family that was very comfortable with the concept of nuclear, and when I got involved in the energy file, I realized that there were people that still had some hesitation around nuclear. And when I started learning more about medical isotopes and nuclear isotopes, I became very excited by the idea of not only communicating what an incredible Ontario and Canadian story this is, but also about trying to champion us doing more of it. most people in Ontario don't realize that we are a major world producer of a huge amount of medical isotopes for sterilization, for radiation, for diagnostic imaging. And what's so exciting about that is our CANDU reactors are actually uniquely positioned to allow us to harvest isotopes without shutting down, which makes us unique across the world. So this is so exciting. It's about Ontario taking real tangible steps to protect people's health, the people that you love, the people that I love, anybody whose life has been touched by cancer. You have a stake in this as well. Minister Lecce is a incredible person to be involved in this. The very first time I ever met him, we met for lunch, and it was the day after I had toured Bruce Power. And I more or less immediately started asking him about nuclear, and it hasn't really stopped since then. And I know that he has himself a personal connection to this as someone whose personal life has been touched by this, like so many of us, I'm sure, on this call. Even back when he was in education, he still really understood how health and energy innovation and public awareness were so connected. So I will sort of just underline, this is an incredibly exciting, hopeful announcement that we should be shouting from the rooftops. We should be so incredibly proud of Ontario innovation here. And I'm so grateful that we have a minister like Stephen Lecce so heavily involved in this file. So without further ado, I will hand it over to him.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate the intro, and obviously thank you to Minister McGregor and MP Dixon. It's good to see you both. We're going to get into this, but I think Jess Dixon really framed this well. I mean, nuclear energy is more than just civilian power for millions of Canadians, non-emitting, clean Canadian tech. It's more than energy security. In this case, it produces one of the many benefits of nuclear science is these medical isotopes, which are converted into essentially heat-seeking missiles that go after tumors that are obviously very pervasive. And for too many of us, 250,000 Canadians this year alone will be diagnosed with cancer. And, and yes, my own family's been touched by this. So yesterday we were at Sunnybrook, the very place where I walked into for 2 months for treatment with my mom. So it is personal, and we all want to play a role in helping to leave our province, our country, our communities better off, but also improve the human health of those we love. There's an economic benefit as well. 8,000 people work directly related to the medical isotope space in Ontario. We are one of the world's largest producers of isotopes, which are then converted into these radio pharmaceuticals. It's the medicine, it's the interventions, it's the treatment that literally saves lives or extends lives. And yesterday, we had a few examples of doctors and patients share their story about how these innovations that were really originated from nuclear science have helped to save their lives. So very meaningful. And so today, we wanted to profile with you that the government is going to be doubling the production of isotopes in the province, going from a top leader in the world to the global supplier, exporter, producer, and harvester of medical isotopes, which is a really proud moment for Canada to flex our muscle as leaders in science, in nuclear power, and yes, in health. But I think it's a really neat intersection of industry, science, technology, academia, and nuclear and healthcare coming together to build a policy and a program that allows us to help the 40 million medical procedures this year that will depend on medical isotopes. So the province is announcing the doubling of capacity. We are expanding investments. McMaster University has a 24-hour micro nuclear facility. Many people don't know this, for example. The government, because of strong advocacy, including of Jess, who was fighting to make this a 24/7 operation, the province put $20 million in the last budget to do that. What does that mean? It means we're producing 24/7 now, 24/7 isotopes that are being specifically used to help prevent cancers in thyroid. Really important for anyone who's been afflicted by that. In our Darlington nuclear reactor, we've been harvesting medical isotopes specifically for brain and breast cancers and those types of tumors. So my point is we're leveraging an all the above approach. Bruce, Darlington, Pickering, and of course our nuclear capacity and some of our private businesses to really make sure that we strengthen our life sciences in the province and, as I mentioned, protect the lives of those we love the most. So thank you for being with us today. The announcement yesterday also included the launch of this task force. It's the Nuclear Isotope Innovation Council of Ontario. It's being led by the Senior Vice President of Bruce Power, James Skoniak, who himself has a personal connection to childhood cancer. And so my point is we're leveraging the best in class. Some of the best doctors in Canada are on this task force, some of the best leaders in innovation. And we're going to produce to you this fall our action plan to double. This is not a royal commission. We're not the Liberals who are going to take 15 years to study it and never implement it. We're literally moving at a speed that I think reflects the moment that we're in. So that's the Premier's vision: lead in science, lead in innovation, and obviously lean into nuclear power is the way forward for keeping the lights on, keeping the air clean, and keeping our lives healthy. So with that, I'll turn it back to Isha and Jess and others who may facilitate the rest of this.
Great, thank you, Minister. So for anyone that has a question, please use the raise hand function, and I'll just start in chronological order. So our first question is from Remy.
Thank you very much, ministers and MPP, for this important and vital news for the Ontario. But and I just want to mention that my last questions to Minister Lecce was about was the nuclear, if the nuclear plants will be affected by the new pipeline, and you assured that it is not affected, and now this is the proof. My question for Minister Lecce, if this doubling the isotopes will reduce the waiting time for the Ontario patients, especially those who have a cancer and such stuff of sickness?
Access to medical isotopes, it can decrease timelines, but it more so gives you more effective health interventions. So it is possible, yes, that it will help reduce timelines, the time it takes to get access to these health interventions. But maybe more than anything else, it's giving you access to better health interventions. Bruce Power, working with an Indigenous territory called the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, they're producing a pharmaceutical or a medical isotope that's being converted to a pharmaceutical that is literally the world's leading cancer fighter for prostate. It's Pavoxin. It's an incredible technology, and this. So my point is the expansion of isotopes, the doubling of production, the diversification of more isotopes to really target more cancers and tumors. This is going to help patients get access to the best treatments to maximize their life and minimize the health impact. And I think that's probably the best metric of success. But sure, it also can reduce the timelines it takes to get access to medicines because we'll have more of them at home. In fact, we produce so much, Rami, that we export because there's, we're that type of generator. We produce much more than we need, which is good because many parts of the world don't have CANDU reactors, and thus they don't have medical isotopes. Millions of people particularly from the developing world, do not have access to these basic health interventions. But before you go anywhere, Rami, because I know you have a follow-up, Jess Dixon has something to share, and then we'll come back to you, Rami, okay?
Sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on that because there is a real example of this. Back in 2009, Chalk River had to stop production temporarily of molybdenum-99, and we were one of the major global producers, but also users of that isotope, and it ended up creating a worldwide supply crisis because we had been providing over 30%. And so we actually did see, triaging happening sort of here and internationally because as I said, the nuclear fleet wasn't really getting the attention that it needed. So, in a very real way, we've seen what can happen when this isn't supported. And that's why, like Minister Lecce said, this is more about having far more, fast and effective treatments. But the absence of isotopes, we've seen that happen, as I said, relatively recently, and I think it was 2009. So this is really, really securing not just our supply, but the world is relying on us as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Rami, thank you.
Okay, we'll go to our next question, which is from Bill.
Thank you, Asha. I welcome both ministers. Good to see you both. And we really feel privileged that for every important announcement, you always call us and include the ethnic media to disseminate these important initiatives of this government. So I want to thank you once more for this type of inclusion. Both of the ministers, and nice to see MPP Dixon as well participating today. Minister Lecce, I have two questions. I believe you have indicated that the modular nuclear reactors have the capability to produce in isotopes as well. So my question is, if it's this so, when we sell these modular reactors to the world, do they acquire the capability of producing isotopes as well, or that privilege remains within Canada? That's my first question. And the second one is that, can we use this type of leverage for tomorrow with the Trump, again, threat to control our foreign policy by telling us, no, you cannot do this, or, what you do, as if we are his 51st state? Can we use some leverage in terms of initiatives like today and others to pressure our friends to the south?
So thank you, Bill. So on the question of the small modular reactor, that technology does not have the capacity to produce or harvest medical isotopes, but the CANDU technology, which is, made in Ontario, made in Canada, that's actually one of the many features of CANDU, which is why the world is looking to build CANDUs. Frankly, it's a safe, continuous supply, 80 plus year for the refurbishment. So the life extent of these assets are incredible and they're reliable, but they produce isotopes, which the other technologies do not. So CANDU's being built around the world for this purpose, among others. And we, of course, as MPP Dixon mentioned, like, for example, 50% of the world's cobalt-60, which is literally what is used to for both diagnostics and for sterilization of medical equipment and for medical imagery. There's no alternative. We produce half of the world's supply, and that's 100% from CANDU. So we really are our leader. But I think what you're hearing from us, from our team and our government, is we want to be even more ambitious. We want Canada to be self-reliant, and we want to have leverage over our partners and trade partners, unlike perhaps President Trump, who in his first term tried to weaponize PPE in a pandemic. I'm not sure it is going to be our intention to weaponize life-saving treatments. I think we're better than that as Canadians, but you're right, it is leverage. And they need our minerals, they need our energy, they need our isotopes, contrary to what they will say, that they need nothing. That is, of course, not the case. So we'll consider how we can maximize pressure on them when you put it all together, the minerals, the energy, the nuclear, to make sure we get a deal that's good for Canada. But the isotopes or technically they're under the NAFTA provisions or the Canada-US MCA, so they're tariff-free. But, I didn't expect a tariff question on isotopes today, but I guess that's a fair point. So they are able to move south without tariffs. If they start tariffing isotopes, they've lost the plot. But maybe the administration has already lost the plot. So
thank you. It was an indirect question on tomorrow's deadline. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to Alan Tam from Fairchild.
Good morning, everyone.
Good to see you.
My question is, how would this announcement help reduce wait times or improve access to cancer treatments in Ontario?
When it comes to improving access to care, it's such an important question because I think this is the crux of the announcement. It's about leveraging Ontario's nuclear power for the benefit of saving lives. And so when you look at a few examples, McMaster University, they're leading in the production of what's called iodine 125 or aluminum 166, both of which are used for prostate cancers. You look at some of the work being done at Bruce, which is a partnership with the Indigenous that the government supported for lutetium-177 that helps a variety of cancer therapies. The CANDU reactors we brought forth and the technology we're investing in is helping to change the game of science because historic technologies had big impact on the patient. They weren't as targeted. These new technologies are extremely efficacious because it targets the tumor while still preserving the remains of the healthy cells. And so while I'm not going to pretend to be a medical expert, when I can simply assert to you, the doctors have said these are the new modern state-of-the-art technologies that are now giving people hope. When otherwise they had high mortality rates, they're now seeing people live and live long, healthy lives. So the benchmark of success is keeping people healthy in Canada and being more preventative when it comes to identifying cancer, which is why diagnostics and imagery, these things matter to help diagnose early stage disease. And I'm proud that we have a group, this NIICO, this established this task force that has somebody like Dr. Wong, like the country's most prolific cancer doctor, is represented on the task force, along with, the head of some of the largest nuclear generators on the continent. So it's a great example of Canadian tech, medicine, science, and the can-do spirit of Canada. No pun intended, but like the get it done would be a better alternative or synonym. McGregor's distressed by my use of words here. But what I'm trying to say is getting it done by moving quick. And so the fact that we've announced this plan today, you'll see an action plan by the fall. We're already stepping up investments in the most recent budget. It's a good signal that we're moving quick and we want to make sure we make a difference for people at home and abroad.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure. Yeah.
So what role did the private industry, let's say university like McMaster, and other international partners play in shaping these initiatives?
Well, the private sector is represented on the task force, and of course, Bruce Power, the chair, is from Bruce, is the senior vice president. So we're embracing the public-private partnership. Obviously, we are using medical isotopes for public good, but there are private companies, Canadian technology leaders, who are in the business of producing these isotopes, and we welcome that as support and innovation. They benefit from this strategy, as do our universities and as do our hospitals. And frankly, as do our workers, because there's thousands of people that will benefit, 8,000 plus workers today directly connected to this strategy. Our plan is to double it. More jobs, more investment, more private capital being invested in the R&D sector, because there's some amazing companies that now are licensed to produce and to harvest. So this is good economic policy, it's good health policy, it's good energy policy, and it's just another reminder that common sense can prevail in our government because it's the obvious right thing to do.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is coming from Abhijit from Y Media. I don't think we can hear you. Oh, you're still on mute. Would you mind?
Maybe we'll try someone else. We'll come right back to you, okay, when he gets this.
Yeah, Do we have any other questions on the line?
Okay, if you can, you could maybe, if you want to type it in.
Type it in.
We're happy to do this
Yeah.
this way or even offline.
Yep. You just type in your question.
While we're waiting, Minister Lecce, you had indicated before that you may arrange a tour of the ethnic media to the different energy producing facilities. Is that still in the works in the future?
Yeah, we want to do a tour of our small modular reactors and show you and all the communities of Ontario that Canada and Ontario are literally leading the way. So it is our intention. But because we have so much respect for you, we would never bring you to a nuclear reactor in the summer unless you want to, enter a desert that's like 40 degrees. So we thought this would be a good fall project. So you can tell if we really respect you, we'd bring you in July. If we didn't respect you, we'd bring you in July. But we respect you too much. So we're thinking maybe the fall when the weather's a little bit better and more conducive for a tour.
Thank you.
But maybe actually it's a good reminder just for Isha and my team working with Minister McGregor's and Jess's and others. Let's get a date scheduled just so we could all, plan it out. Okay, well, look, if there's a challenge with that last question, we'll take it offline.
Yep.
And I just will turn it back to you.
Yep, sounds good. I think if that is the last question, and if that is the last question for now, I think we can just cap it off here and we can take any other questions just offline. So I'll turn it over to Minister Lecce just to say some parting words, and for the rest of our guests as well, MPP Dixon, and for Minister McGregor as well.
I will turn it over to them. I've said enough, but thank you all. Appreciate your time today.
Yeah, I don't think I could have said it better than the other folks, but appreciate everybody taking the time to learn about this today, and want to reiterate the great relationship that we have with our cultural media sector. We do take this very seriously. We want you to have access to government to be able to tell the stories of what government's doing. So we're going to continue to do that, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their day.
Guys, one last thing. Abhijit's question actually just came in. So just for the group, do you think that this decision will stop cancer patients from going to the US for treatment because of less research here and long wait times?
So the answer is it will help give Ontario patients a better suite of options to fight cancer here at home. And it can mean reducing the time some Ontarians have to consider alternate treatments going abroad. Now we'll have the most advanced technologies, treatments available here at home. So it really should help improve the state of care, the quality of care, the diversified options and interventions. And yeah, the effect of it should be speed, improved quality of the intervention, and to some degree it may even keep Ontarians or avert them from having to go abroad, because we are investing in some of the leading health technologies. So it is a good story for those that have had to go abroad for cancer care. We're going to be leading into some of those rare cancers, those new treatments that I think no one wants, but when in that moment of time when you need it, Ontario will be standing up to provide it. So it's a great case study that nuclear science and nuclear energy does a lot more than just keep the lights on. It is at the heart of the health solutions to Canadians who face cancer. So for the 250,000 people to this year, this is a good story. For anyone who in the future that will get cancer, which is averaging 2 in 5 of us, very powerful announcement today that we'll have better health care closer to home.
Okay. And any last parting words? And that was our last question.
Yes, we're
Thank you,
good.
everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all.